Hey guys, WheatyWaffle here today, and we are back in the city of Westfield. I've gone through and made some small changes based on some suggestions that JMWZ left in the last part for traffic. I haven't fully finessed all of it, so there's still going to be some work that I do throughout, and I didn't apply all the suggestions you see here listed on screen, but I did do some of them. One of the suggestions that was in there was that there was no reason for there to be an off-ramp from this highway coming down onto the roundabout when we could just add that exit onto the already roundabout connected exit that we have here. So I've kind of reworked this. I know it's 2 lanes going into 1 lane, but the traffic actually using this new exit is so small. I mean, it's mainly like police and other service vehicles that I didn't mind switching that and putting them together into 1 exit here, as well as reducing this exit into just 1 lane instead of 2. That was making more problems than it was worth. So we've kind of fixed this. Over here, I added a asymmetrical road as our exit so that people can kind of get in the lane they need to be in before they exit out. That's actually really been helpful because it allows more traffic to pile into these roads instead of backing up onto the roundabout itself. We removed this highway exit here, and instead we now have this road coming off and actually connecting into this downtown area, or this leisure area. So now we kind of have the main entrance. Still a T-junction. I want to keep this T-junction here. I really like how it looks. And I want to have just a dedicated entrance to this area that cuts between both of these stadiums. And then if we jump over this way, this I'm still working to finalize. It's not yet done. But what I've done is I've set this particular road up so that there's no left turns. Regardless of what entrance you're on, there's no left turns. If you are coming into this area, you're gonna have to treat this almost like a roundabout so that you're able to turn left depending on where you need to go. You can come this way, you can turn right, but whatever you need to accomplish, you can do kind of treating this road as a roundabout. I am slowly updating this road as the traffic needs require. So you'll notice this area here has this 2-lane asymmetrical road. I only did that because there was a moment where we were getting some backup over the bridge. As this continues to flex, and as we see, the production coming out of these buildings and the production coming out of these factories, we might adjust this some, but we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to see how it goes. I didn't change this highway connection. I like where this is. I like that it's a little bit off of the main avenue, so we're going to keep this as is for now. But we did make some changes based on your guys' suggestions, so thank you so much for those. Keep them coming, especially as we keep moving with this series. I was going to add in the cargo train station that someone suggested, but I'm going to hold off on that just for now. The cargo line is purposely kept separate from everything else, and the cargo line actually stops here, and you'll notice I don't currently have a clear path through. I could delete this zoning. I would need to kind of rework some of these buildings and just get everything to be in the right place, but eventually we will add in an additional cargo line that comes straight on down. It might do a little bit of curving to get past these factories, or maybe we'll rework maybe these trash receptacles, these recycling centers. Maybe we'll put factories over here and be able to carry that line through. I'm not sure yet. We're having a bit of a population dip right now. I'm not entirely sure. I think a lot of it is a death wave because we have such a high demand right now for residential. Is I want to do 2 things in this episode. I want to kind of start using some of this space here that we have, expand this area a bit, add in some more residential over here, as well as get rid of this and put in the small airport. It's one airport we haven't yet done. It's just this basic standard airport. It is much tinier than the Metropolitan Airport, as you can see. I mean, it is way smaller than this. This has multiple runways. This only has the one, so it's actually kind of perfect for this little area. The population over here is not crazy, so we've got Old Town with 173 people, not many, but the majority of this area, Cardona City, is zoned to everything else. That's about 7,000 people. They have some connection with the train to the other area, but I thought having a little airport over here would be really useful. Okay, so now this whole area is leveled out. And if we look here, we have a nice flat piece of land to work with, which is fantastic. I almost got rid of everything. It looks like we left a few rocks over here. There we go. So now we have nothing in this space. It's totally flat. It has a beautiful view of the entire city. Look at all the planes just flying around between our cargo station or cargo airport and our metropolitan airport. I'm thinking I want suburbs to be surrounding this area, and I do think we're going to need an additional highway entrance. So what I want to do is, using this topography map, I'm going to put another highway entrance and exit over here. All right, and then let's go ahead and just add in this 2-lane. We have an on and off, so there's no reason for that to be 3. And we'll do the same over here, even though we've not really needed it. I'd rather have that set up appropriately. Let's go ahead and figure out exactly where we want the airport positioned. And from there, we'll then be able to do our road layout. I wouldn't mind the back of the airport resting against the back of this straight stretch of highway. So I would want the airport about here. So let's just place down a road. We'll do a one-way. And if we're looking at this kind of as our straight line, we could put this right here. I'm going to want to flip it. And then we'll put the airport right behind it. Oh, perfect. Yes. Let's bring this straight on down. Actually, let's turn back on the topography. We'll bring this straight on down, and we're actually going to use this. I like the idea of maybe using this as a coastal road to kind of come along. I know it's a big avenue. Maybe we'll even switch it to a smaller 2-lane road. So the avenue hits here. There is, what is this? Greenaway Way. And then we could do a tree-lined road that kind of comes along the coast. Okay, so now we have this coastal road, comes down, goes near the water. We can even just, oh, I wish I could undo. Oh, I can't. Oh, thank God. We're even just going to come in here, smooth it out a bit, just so it's not, there's no kind of hills or anything around it. And then I'm going to let's take an avenue straight on out from here. Honestly, this can just be straight. There's no reason for this to do anything other than just go straight on down and act as a connection between those two areas. Now, why it did that, I will never know. It was probably because of the straight slope here. Hold on, let's get rid of that. There we go. So we'll bring that straight on down. It comes on down, connects to our coastal road. Now I do want to connect these two halves together. Exactly how, I'm not sure. It might use this airplane road. It might not. I will actually extend this out one on both sides. Maybe we will use this airplane road. It'll come on down, maybe go straight for a bit, and then curve in. Here we can go ahead and actually fix this. Okay, that looks nice. So that's how you can get into the highway there. This road's coming up here. Now I kind of want to have this connect at this point, and maybe this avenue kind of loops over. I don't know what that means for this road, but let's actually back these two up a bit. Let's take this tree-lined avenue. Connect those like that. Okay, so now we have kind of like this arterial that cuts all the way through and connects us back to the other side of the highway. Now what I want to do is I want to actually separate this out, I think, into 3 distinct areas. So this will be one area here, which will kind of cut maybe off at this point, and then we'll have 2 other areas down here. Since we have business over this area, but we don't have much over here, I think what we are going to do is we will follow just a bit of a grid. I'm thinking for this area here. Oops, let's turn this back on. We'll do a bit of a grid here. We'll come on out. Give it enough space for some pathing and just kind of... Oops, good lord. enough space for some pathing, and just be able to get some people around a little bit quicker without having to use their cars. I might even bring this back one additional and connect up here like that. And that can kind of be a little business center, a little town square almost. And because we destroyed this house by accident, we're going to actually use this plot to do a little connection into this new area. We just had to get rid of their home. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you worked hard on it, but we need this for our development. Let's then maybe bring this down. I don't want to connect. Do I want to connect to this intersection? Why not? What harm is it going to cause? Let's actually go straight for a second. Then we'll do a little curve over and a little curve in. Okay. And then let's do one more grid tile back. And then we'll do a grid tile over on this side. This is kind of the beefier part of the quote-unquote downtown of this area. And now from here on out, we are going to switch over to these suburban tree-lined roads and just kind of begin to come up with some organic looking road layout for a suburb near an airport. So it's not the fanciest suburb, but it's got some good connectivity to the area. Okay, I think this is what we're going to go with for a road layout. Let's get in these areas. I think I want to really make sure that like this area here is just filled with trees, especially kind of around the highway. Maybe even have it a bit denser around the highway, and then it can fan out a bit as it goes around. And then we'll do the same over here. So we'll make sure there's a decent highway, a tree wall. We're going to have some trees along the edge here. Maybe they'll come up to the front of the airport. We want to keep this area open for the trees to, the planes to land. And then we're going to come over this side. We'll put a few trees here, but not a ton, because I want to make sure that we allow more than enough space for planes to take off. So we've got our airport, we've got this new little suburb. Let's go ahead and do at least a little bit more. I'd love to kind of figure out the area here in front of the airport. So I would imagine with this airport here, we would want to have a little bit of business right in front of the airport for all the people who are flying in. It's a tiny town area, but it's still, people can still get over here. So we want to give them access to some shops, maybe some restaurants. Let's do, again, I do want to keep it small because I don't want to have too much business happening in this area. So we'll do this here. We'll bring this out maybe 2. And then from here, it's going to become, oh, we could go diagonal with it. Why not? We're going to also do just a tiny, tiny grid over here. I don't want to connect to that road in that way. So we'll do one little square there. And we'll actually just send this one out back too. But then these roads here, like this can go ahead and start becoming more suburban type roads. Why don't we take this actually? Give that a little curve. This can back up. Actually, this would be a decent space for a high school, so maybe we'll do that there instead. This can come forward. Let's switch to this road. I'm kind of using these, what are these called? 2-lane suburban street. I'm kind of using these as markers for myself so that I know what is being zoned kind of where. So the 2-lane suburban streets are meant to be more focused on housing, and then these grass-lined roads, there'll be a little bit of both, but I primarily will probably have businesses and industry and office space in those areas. I think we might have a little park here, kind of envisioning a small park. Let's go back to this. Let's do just a regular plain road. We'll have to give some kind of parking. We'll bring this down 15. And then to give the park some shape, we'll curve this around. We'll mirror the back of this road. So this can be a little park. All of this can just have like ploppable parks. And then this area here is going to be all houses. Now we could keep doing kind of this grid area, and maybe we will, just to kind of connect with this. It's not as exciting as some more of the like flowing streets, but because this is an airport right here, you could imagine that maybe they would want to have like a decent amount of people kind of living in this area. And we can even put I believe, did we put European suburbia on this? We did not. I think both of these areas will use the European suburbia theme. That way, they just are like a little bit smaller. They have yards. They look a little bit more rural, in my opinion, than some of the super modern, highly upgraded houses in this game. It also kind of makes sense that all this would be super gridded because this land is perfectly flattened out. You spent all the money and time to flatten it. Why wouldn't you want to get as much zoning in here as you possibly could? I want to maybe put another park here. We'll have a park here as well as something over here. This particular bit, I don't want to connect this up. So why don't we actually change this into a curve? And we'll send that right in like that. You know, if we're doing this, why don't we just do it, right? Like, let's go out one more set. We'll come to here. Connect all of these. We'll connect this. I think this is where we'll make this 20 and connect, but we'll have this like little change in shape. And we'll bring this to connect to at least there. At this point though, we might switch directions for a bit just to change it up. We'll connect and connect. Maybe we will do a connection here as well. Now we are a bit far from the train, but we do have a train right here that could be ran further. We could bring it underneath this road because this is already elevated, and we could keep it underground to come across and maybe even bring it over and connect it here. We're doing it. Oh boy, is it going to be connected up. Do I want that on the avenue? No, I don't. I don't want it there. Let's back that up. For now, we're just going to anarchy this right through everything and not worry about what it hits. And then we will figure out how to work around all of this in a second. So there aren't many things that I love more than a sunken train line. So we went in and we sunk the train line. So now we have this train line coming all the way down through. All these roads bridging over, which I'm kind of obsessed with, just like how many are bridging. It's fantastic. And then we've keyed both sides. I do need to go in and fix some of this detailing and also put some detailing in just in general. So let me go ahead and just run through this area, give it some more trees, get it looking nice, and then we'll go ahead and start zoning some of this stuff. All right, so now we have our 3 districts. We have the waterfront district here at the front, which has a tax raise on both the residential low density and the residential high density. We have Sunnyside Hills. I feel like we have so many Sunnysides in our city, so give me a name suggestion. We can change that, which includes the airport and the new train station, as well as Park, which huge fan of Park. We can't change the name of that. That's the most ridiculous name that has ever been generated. So Park is actually going to be right next to a park. Let's go ahead and map the little park area. Okay, so we have Waterfront District, which has this massive park near it, which is going to be great, and that's going to help us deal with the need for the higher services in this area because of the higher taxes. Then we have Sunnyside Hills, which has basically all of our transport hubs, and then Park, which is kind of nesting right in the middle, and it's really starting to fill out this part of our city so well. I mean, it's going to make it look, there's the sun. It's going to make all of this look really full and really begin to expand our suburbs. So what I'm going to do quickly, I want to go through, I've already watered everything. I do want to go through and put in some services just so that this whole area has its services, but we're going to wait on zoning it and doing any of that, as well as like the buses and some of those more internal pieces for each of these suburbs until the next part. So let's go ahead and put down a hospital. I'm going to put a relatively large hospital, and it's going to be over here near the train station. We'll face it towards this road since it's closer to the avenue, but I want to have like a large hospital as well as a cemetery. This could go even behind the hospital, although it seems a little strange. Maybe we'll put it down the street. We'll put one here. That will cover, what did that show? Covers about all of that. Let's put another one even over this way. It's going to be a lot of cemeteries, but I want to almost imagine that this area is a little bit older, even though it's brand new for us, and that these areas have a lot of cemeteries and a lot of old parks. Eventually, all the buildings will be the highest level, so it will become a nice area to live. Maybe we'll put the senior center along this road. It's technically in the park if we do that, either side, but we'll put it here so it's near the park. It's a really nice senior center for that area. And then we'll need some childcare. We'll put childcare right here next to the park or the hospital. We'll have other buildings around it, but that way it's close. I'd imagine the hospital probably employs tons of people. We've got a hospital here, and that covered pretty much everything, but let's go ahead and put a small clinic over here, and we'll even put one down this way, maybe like on the waterfront. There's not going to be much that's allowed to zone on this waterfront street, but let's pretend it's like some kind of fancy private practice overlooking the city in the distance. Okay, so that covers pretty much all of our health and death care. We could even do one of these yoga gardens. That's kind of fun. Because this area is the expensive area, let's give this area the yoga garden. We'll put a yoga garden here. We could put one over in Park. Why not? I don't think this is the fancy spot, but we'll put it right behind the clinic. Then fire. I'm going to use these ones from the workshop. No, I'm not. We're going to use this one. I like this one a lot. So again, these service buildings will be relatively large for what we're working with. But part of that is because I want the area. Which one's the small one? That's the tiny one. I want the area to have a few kind of skyline looking buildings that are taller than the rest, that are all of our services, that just kind of give a point of interest when you're looking at this area from below, because all of the houses are going to be pretty low density. So let's do a police station over here, maybe on the side road to the avenue. Then we'll also do a police station down this way. This is another building that I wouldn't mind having either on or very close to on this beachfront road. And then we'll do one more police station right up here near the train station. So we got police. Let's do some schools. We've got great high school education and high school availability. Let's put the community school down in this section. So we'll put this, it fits perfectly in one of those blocks. We'll put the regular high school over here. Right there is kind of nice. And then we'll put a What is this one? Is this just another elementary school? Yep, another elementary school over here. This one can kind of go in this area because I want this square to also be a little park. I'm just going to make it a park for now. It might just end up being like the standard park asset. Actually, let's just figure that out. Does this fit? Oh, it totally fits. Okay, great. So this is going to go in here as well. We'll connect all that up and we'll put some paths with that in the next part. So we've done police. We need to do high schools. High school, again, we have great education availability. So let's put a high school maybe facing this road. I like that actually it's centered so that it's kind of sitting in the corner of this road. That looks nice. So that'll cover a lot of that area. We can go ahead and put one more high school in because we actually don't have one servicing any of this portion of Cardona City. So let's put just this more standard looking high school. We'll put that in the quote unquote downtown of this area. High school. Do we want a university over here? I'm going to hold on a university because I want to allow my other universities to be able to level up and do what they need to do. Let's squeeze a public library or two in here. Why don't we put one here, maybe off the main road. I'm going to tuck it away in a spot that's been underdeveloped, and they decided we'll put a library here. We'll put one right off the main road here, though, to service this district, and we'll put another library. We have one here, one here. We'll put one somewhere here in the middle-ish. This is a park. These two squares are very much going to be residential because they have cul-de-sacs. So maybe we put this library right here. That's not bad. In addition to all of that, we're going to have a nice large park here. I do think this area could benefit from some smaller parks. So maybe they could get, where's the elementary school? Here's the elementary school. Can we put the small playground behind it? Oh, we can. Let's put a small playground in this corner. That will kind of service that area. I would love the botanical gardens to be over here. Or maybe the botanical gardens can be inside of this large roundabout we have, or maybe just off to the side even. It does fit there. So the botanical gardens kind of inside all the trees, overlooking the city as well. Let's do a Zen garden over here near the hospital. Maybe it'll be over just tucked way close to the train station. People can easily go visit it. And then let's also think about adding in one of these larger high school field assets that I have from the gallery. So we'll put this here. I think that looks nice. We'll scoot it back. We can use a path or something along the front edge there. But this is right adjacent to the high school. And then we will go ahead and just put in a few parks that act as parking lots. That way we're getting enough parking for the high school, but also filling out the area and making it feel like this whole area is a part of the high school's kind of development. That's going to be where we leave this part here. We've really done a lot of work in terms of prepping for the expansion. Now what we're going to do in the next part is go through, zone all of this, work on some additional connections for public transit with buses. I don't think we'll do a metro or anything like that, but just see what we kind of need to do here in terms of population and the needs of our citizens. We've got tons of population that we need, especially with the death wave we have, and until we add that extra population, Woodland is not going to be able to reach 5 stars because we are just constantly losing workers. If you remember, we started this episode with 400 and some, and now we're down to 338, which is lower than we were when we last worked on that area. So I'm thinking it's really starting to come together, though. We're starting to get some nice sprawl. There's not much area left in this section of the city, so we will probably just do additional sprawl going up this way, or maybe do a secondary set of farms that still play in with this farm industry up here in the corner over in this area, because all of this is fertile land. But to do that, we need more people first. So that's what this area is going to solve for us. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of this. How do you like how it's turned out? Before we do the zoning, before we get all those people in there, tell me if there's anything we should change. That way I don't end up doing everything, loving your suggestions, and then we need to kind of cut some things out or rip some things apart. I am really happy we were able to fit this train station in here though, and I think that looks really, really nice. And it's going to complement all of the European buildings really well. All right, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this part, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below about what we should name these sections. And if you haven't already, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.